Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Leadership Show. My name is Remy Chukwunyere. I am the Executive Director of the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa and also the host of the Leadership Show. Today is a fantastic opportunity for you to listen to a wonderful man that we brought to you all the way from the US of A. And I'm talking about a professional football basketball player in America and in Europe, who has retired from active sports, but is still active in so many other things that we'll get to discover as the conversation begins. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Ken Barlow, the former American professional basketball player who is highly celebrated in the whole of the US and in Europe because of his contributions in the development of the sports. And today he will be talking to us how to build a successful career in sports. I'm sure that Nigerians and Africans who are into sports are listening so that they can learn how this successful man was able to build a successful career in basketball. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take your 1 hour, discussing all his escapades in that wonderful sport. So let me briefly tell you more about this important person that we have this afternoon, on the show. I'm talking about Ken Barlow, who was born in San Antonio, Texas. He began school in Masawa, Japan, and matriculated through schools in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. He grew up partially as a military brat, partially as a gym rat, and holistically as a young boy and young man committed to his education and community. Ken has a vast array of life experiences, having lived in a multiplicity of states and countries. The educational environments that have helped mold him have been nothing short of extraordinary. He is a product of both public and private school systems. In 1986, he was awarded the St. Joseph's County Student Athlete of the Year and earned his BA from the University of Notre Dame in Government and International Relations. The former NBA first-round draft selection spent the subsequent 16 years winning 12 championships in the European basketball leagues. Always active in the community, Ken has been active supporting numerous service initiatives. He has spent the past 15 years in different positions, serving the Cathedral High School in Indiana. He has served on the board of directors, as vice president for the Black Alumni Council, past parent, assistant boy basketball coach, and director of alumni. Over the past 5 years, he has served as the vice president of the Constituent Relations and now Diversity. As the school's first African-American executive team member, Ken joins a 9-member group that is charged with ensuring focus and direction of the school's mission. In addition, Ken is a proud father of 3 adult sons, a husband, and a disciple for the Lord. No longer on the fast break on the hoops court, he directs a great deal of his energy, running the lanes, serving God, and assisting young people in the US. And today we want to bring him to also extend his services to young people and community to Africa, starting from Nigeria. So this is a way of introducing our guest on the show this afternoon. Mr. Ken, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Remy. Thank you for such a warm introduction. It is indeed my pleasure to be here to help serve your community as well, to be as helpful as I can today. So I'm sure we will have a very healthy and productive conversation over the next hour. So thank you.
Well, fantastic. Like I said before we started, we want to really thank you for sacrificing your time. This is about 7 a.m. in Indiana, and here we are talking to you. It's a big sacrifice, and we do not take it for granted. We appreciate you for this sacrifice, sir.
Thank you. God's blessings to all of us. I mean, I think it is God's will that we're here together today, so it's no problem for me, and I'm thrilled once again to be helpful to you guys as well. So God bless us all.
Thank you so much. It's a great privilege, and I bring you greetings from my boss, Ugwumba Uchemosu, the president and founder of the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa, and the whole team members of the center. We appreciate you for this sacrifice that you have made, and I'm sure that before we leave today, the Africans and Nigerians watching and listening, will be grateful for this opportunity of having you on the show this afternoon. Okay, so let's hit the ball rolling. I just read a brief about you, and so interesting, and a great profile at that. So we want to know, is there anything that I missed that you want us to know, especially about your upbringing?
Yeah, I think one thing that I could really add is from my parents, a very strong work ethic, resilience, persistence was instilled in me as a young child through my faith in God, and it kind of helped carry me, because life is never easy for anyone. But when you have instilled in you the right core values, it enables you to succeed and to deal with adversity along the way. So my path wasn't easy, but I had the right foundation, and I had the right parents to help guide me, and also I had the right people along the way to kind of help me succeed and do the things in life that I've done. So yes. Anyway, so you have to stay true to who you are and your core values, and believe that God is still able to support you through. So I would like to add that, if that's not too much.
Okay. So I think what it means is that your background has a lot to play, in your success story. Is that correct?
That's correct. And none of us succeed alone. So I actually focused on my parents, but I had great teachers. I had great friends around me that also helped us. So our background and our foundation is core to our successes in life. So you have to say no to a lot of things that are contrary to us reaching our goals and our aspirations.
Okay, great. Good to know that. You're so lucky. You have a wonderful background, and we're happy for you too. So, like I said, since how many days now, we've been talking about your achievements and your escapades, in basketball, in the whole of Europe and in America. So we want to know, what were your most striking achievements as a professional basketball player?
Now, that is a huge question. I'm going to try to put it to you in segments, okay? So in terms of my career, I started playing basketball in the 7th or 8th grade. And so I had great achievements even at that level. We were like the district champions for that age group. And then in high school, a very big achievement that I received individually was I was selected as a consensus United States All-American, which at the McDonald's level is one of the top 25 players in my age group at around 17, 18 years old. And then a great achievement in college, I was a two-time school MVP in basketball, but I was also the student athlete of the year my last year, which you mentioned earlier in my bio. And then as a senior in college, it was a very big achievement to be selected in the first round of the National Basketball Association, or the NBA. And then beyond that, when I decided to take my talents to Europe, it's very hard to put my finger on one thing, but I will say that I was very successful in every country and every team that I played on. And I was fortunate enough to win 12 European titles as a result. So throughout my career, I can't really put my finger on one, but I can say that I established goals for myself at the middle school, high school, college, and professional level. And I was able to achieve virtually all my goals, not only by myself, but also with great teammates. But yes, so it was a really complete career in terms of sports.
Good. I saw on your profile that you rejected an NBA offer, NBA contract to play in Europe. So I don't know. One may wonder, why did you do that? Why did you have to turn down an NBA contract to play in Europe?
Yes. hopefully the listeners will understand this. So a big part of me turning down the NBA contract at the time, I believe that it was unprecedented. I mean, NBA first round draft picks, 99% of the time do not turn down contracts to take an option to go to Europe. But I was one of the people who did that. And that was about 30 years ago. But the reason I did it is because I had established my foundation through my education. So I had earned my college degree. And at the time, I had two very good job offers from two very reputable companies in America, Procter & Gamble and also Sears Company. I had two job offers. And then my agent came to me and told me that he had some offers for me to play in Italy. And so I had 5 options. I had 2 options to play in Italy. I had 2 job offers not to play basketball at all. And then the Atlanta Hawks were actually underselling me. So they were actually trying to convince me to play for them under market value. So I knew what my value was, and it was much greater than what they were offering. But not only that, they told me that it was going to be very challenging for me to actually break their starting lineup, which I didn't agree with that. But if that was their perspective, I was okay with it. So I knew that I was being undervalued. And because I was being undervalued and because I had established myself through my education, I was able to make a choice. I had more than one choice. So my only choice was not the NBA. I had 4 other choices that I was able to choose from, and I chose the one that was best for me and my family, and that was to go to Italy and play in Milan, Italy in 1986.
Oh, fantastic! It's fantastic. So, because you like you said, you were already established, your foundation because of the educational qualification that you have. So that enabled you to make an informed decision on which opportunities to go for. I think that's what you said.
Yes. So it's important for any athlete. My father used to tell me all the time, Remy, not to put all of my eggs in one basket. He said, because if you drop the basket, everything breaks. He says, so you have to have an egg in a couple different baskets. So I had job offers. I had a job offer in Chicago. I had a job offer in Cincinnati. I had the Atlanta Hawks and the NBA who were offering me. And then I had 2 options to go to Europe. So, but the first foundation began with my education because I earned my degree. And so I was already being offered employment that wasn't related to sports. So I had a foundation. So when the Atlanta Hawks offered me the contract, I knew right away the mathematics were wrong and that they could do a much better. If they weren't going to do a much better job, then I was going somewhere else. Yes.
Okay, I still want to know what would have happened if you had gone for the NBA contract. What do you think would have happened in your career?
Yeah, so that's what we don't know. It could have been great. I mean, my year career, it could have been great, or it could have been like a lot of people, like I know, and most people don't know, that a lot of players go in and out of the NBA and they don't stay very long. So I was thinking also in terms of the longevity of my career. So I had to ask myself a question: would I gamble on a lower contract and less years, because they were in the position to say, if we don't like you, we can send you home anyway after 1 year. And so to add a little bit to the story, the very next year, they drafted another player exactly like me, and he only lasted 6 months, and his career in the NBA was over. So it's you have to make a choice. Ultimately, I went to Europe and I played for 16 years. So, and I was very successful. So I can't say that I think I made a great choice. Most basketball players don't play as long as I've played.
Good, fantastic. So that's the role education can play in advancing anyone's career. In whichever profession one chooses to participate in. Okay, I think we have some comments on the. Yeah, let's take some comments. Okay, let's take some comments. I have from Bilikisu Garuba. Bilikisu, hello everyone. Hello, Mr. Remy. Watching live and glad to be here. Elbow It was that Able Cup. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us, Biliki Sugarba. Thank you so much. And this is from Osuji Posmos, Ugwumba Cares. Thank you, Posmos. Thank you, Posmos. This is good. Okay. Okay. Ugwumba Pikin. All right. Good one. Fantastic. Okay. Very interesting. Okay. And this one is from Loretta. Loretta, nice one. Loretta Chi Okeze Joseph. Thank you so much. Please, if you have questions, don't hesitate to put them on the comment section so that we can, put them across to our guests. And by the way, we're talking with Ken Barlow, the former American professional basketball player who has, who went all around Europe playing basket and made history, winning 12 championships in European Basketball League. That's wonderful. And that's why we brought him here to share with us how he did it, how he made it, and how he skated through all the hurdles and all the challenges, getting to where he is, he was before he retired from active sports. So thank you for all the comments. So we are expecting your questions to come afterwards. Okay. Sir, we're talking about a successful career here, which is also being celebrated. We want to know what was your motivation all through the period, from beginning to the end. What was it that was motivating you?
Yeah, so I love competition, and I think competition is good for everyone. I mean, and I love competition at this level. I want to make sure that the people that I'm competing against are also good competitors. So I was always motivated to compete, really not so much against them because I needed them to be good, but I was competing against myself because I truly believe, Remy, the best that we can do is give our best. So I wanted to make sure that I was being challenged all the time in my motivation in school or on the basketball court to give my best. So that means that I had to seek out the competition and make sure that I was playing against the highest level competition to do that. And so I live in Indiana now, and I don't know, hope the people in Africa and Nigeria, I can help you understand that Indiana has a great fascination with basketball. It's like the #1 sport in this region. So people love it, and kids play all the time. There's basketball courts in every community. There are a lot of people have courts on their houses, and so we're indoctrinated into the sport of basketball. But my motivation really was really competition and trying to be my best. And hopefully I was encouraging someone else to be their best, because that's the way that we both can give our best and find out how good we really can be. So along the way, I always wanted to be a champion. I always wanted to be recognized for my effort and my talent and my skill sets. And so I was able to compete at a very high level in high school and college and even across Europe. You want to play the best, be the best, and you want to be around people who help motivate you to give the best of yourself. Yep, so that's my motivation. It's really the competition.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. There's a key word that I got from your comment. You said that you were competing against yourself. Wonderful. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. So go ahead.
I don't compare myself to the next guy. I'm just trying to make sure I'm giving everything that I have to be the best I can be every day. So, and that's my motivation. Am I being the best person that I can be in the sport or in life, right? Even in our relationships, am I being the best I can be? So.
Wonderful. And there is no limit to that kind of competition where you are competing against yourself.
Right. Right. Because you can always challenge yourself to do something more, right? You can always add something more to be better. Yes. So there's no limit to it. You're absolutely correct.
That's fantastic. And that's the greatest motivation, when you're competing against yourself. So you're not looking at anyone, even if they fall short, you still want to, you aim higher because you are competing against yourself. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that wonderful word. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you are learning. I'm sure you are listening. Because we are talking to a successful man in sports, someone that have won 12 championships in European basketball league. It's not a mean feat, and I'm sure that you are learning. Especially look at what he said that was motivating him. He was competing against himself. You can imagine that. So that can also be applied in your education, in your business, and in every aspect of your life. You can start competing against yourself. And what it means is that you will have limitless potentials, because there are no limits. There are no boundaries to what you can achieve if you're looking up to yourself. That is amazing. That is amazing. Thank you so much. And there's another thing that I learned that is very, very interesting that I want to point out here. You said Indiana seems to be a community of basketball. That's what it means.
Yes, it does.
That's what it means.
It's a long.
Okay, so that was also striking for me, because I'm talking about here in Nigeria. Because if what is most obtainable, or yes, around the community, can easily influence the people, especially the young people in such communities. Yeah, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. So which means if you want for example, if you want to promote education in your communities, it means you have to establish libraries around the whole place, so that young people can walk in and begin to cultivate the culture of reading that is going to affect their performances in education. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. If the people are exposed to an activity, education, athletics, it could be medicine, it could be English, it could be whatever. If you're exposed to the educational field or the sports field, if it's in your community, you can become great in that. You're absolutely correct, Remy. Yes.
That's really fantastic. And it's a lesson that I'm going to take away from this, because we need it really, because here we talk about encouraging young people to go to school, encouraging young people to go for one particular profession or the other. But there is nothing like that they see within their environment that is motivational, like what you have just said about Indiana in the US, where every community has a basketball court. Now what it means is that young people in the morning can walk into the court and do play. In the evening, they can also go back to play. And from there, you raise champions. That is really fantastic for me. That's amazing. That's amazing. And no wonder I saw that your children also play basketball. Is that the reason?
Yeah. So my children, yes. So to your point that you're making now. So my children watched me play basketball, and I used to take them to even when I was a professional in Europe, I used to just take them to practice and allow them to watch and to see what it was to be a professional. And so now my youngest son is a professional basketball player like myself. He has he's played in France and Greece. This past year, he played in Argentina. He's a very successful basketball player as well. But he's very connected to me. And my other son, Keenan, also played at the university level. His talent didn't allow him to play past that, but he played. He was able to receive his education as well, because here in America, we have a system of we have a marriage between academics and sports. So there's a close relationship between the academics and the sports. So for like myself, my family couldn't otherwise afford for me to go to the university, but I was able to go because of sports. But I was also grounded in my education to make sure that I was receiving everything academically that I could receive, just like my children as well. So yes, so they play basketball as well.
That's fantastic. So you also, is that Kelsey?
Kelsey, yeah.
Oh, so he's playing in Europe.
Yeah, he was this past year. He played in South America. He played in Argentina, but he's already played in Greece. He's played in France. He played a little bit in Turkey. Yeah, so he's played around Europe and also South America.
Fantastic. Now let me take you back to what you just said: academics and sports. In the US, you try to balance the two, academics and sports. So but that doesn't work out here, or doesn't work well here, because most times you see sports people, especially footballers, they drop out of school and focus on football. So but just like what you said now, in America, you have a way of balancing academics and sports, so that you make sure you go through school and also continue playing football. So what promotes that? What is there any system that helps to promote that? While they are playing football or basketball, they're also going to school. So what system promotes that?
Yeah, so they start at a very young age here in America in promoting it. So even into like the junior high schools, you have sports teams at the schools. So you have your academic requirements that you have to achieve in the middle school, but there are also teams like a basketball team, a football team, a volleyball team, a baseball team, that they allow the kids to have an extracurricular activity. And what they've done in America, this is not only Indiana, this is really across America. What they've done in America is they've made that competitive. So they take, for example, in Indianapolis, at the 12 and 13-year-old age group in school, they will play other 13-year-old schools or 12-year-old schools in basketball, or they will play, and then that carries over into the high school, where high schools from around the city and around the state will compete against each other. And ultimately, the goal for the really good athletes who achieve is to receive an academic scholarship to go to the university. So if you notice in America at the university level, all of the universities have implemented athletics, and the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, they all find a lot of their talent at the university levels, because from elementary school to high school to college, there's a system set up where schools encourage and inspire each other and through competitive sports. So that is the system, how it is set up here in America. And I think it's a great system, because it allows a lot of young people who play sports, who otherwise wouldn't have the finances to go to school for free. And what the schools do at the university level is they advertise and they conspire together to form conferences and groups to sell tickets and to sell TV rights to be able to afford to do this. So I think that's over the last 50 years, or even more, maybe the last 60 years in America, that the system has been set up that way competitively to enhance not only the academics, but to enhance the sports world as well.
That's a very good system. That's a very good system that promotes, studying and also playing football or basketball or any sports that you want to get involved in. That's a very good system, and I'm sure, and that would be good if our leaders in government, can adopt that kind of strategy, so that it makes it, compulsory that there must be some academic requirements, before you join maybe any of the national clubs or national, what do you call it? National competitions, things like that will help. Yeah, it will help, promote education and as well as sporting. Very interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so let me ask you. Even though you have told us a lot about your professional experiences, so we want to know, how did this journey start? How did you start? How did the journey start? The journey as a basketball player, how did you start?
Yes, so and you read in my bio that I grew up in a lot of different places. I was born in Texas. My father was in the military. We moved to Japan when I was 4 or 5 years old. We stayed there. Then we moved to Michigan. Then we moved to Ohio. Then we came to Indiana. But my father likes to play sports. He wasn't a professional athlete, but he loved to play sports. So he got me and my brothers involved in playing sports. But we didn't play basketball. We didn't play in Texas. We didn't play in Japan. We didn't play in Michigan. We started playing basketball when we moved to Indiana. For example, in Michigan and in Ohio, the bigger sport that we learned as a younger kids, like 6, 7 years old, was football. We played more football than more baseball. But when we moved to Indiana, basketball was the big sport. But so I got indoctrinated in basketball when we just moved to Indianapolis, Indiana. And my brothers and I walked to the park one day, and everybody was at a basketball court playing basketball. And we weren't very good. And so you know what happens as a child, children tease each other when they can tell that someone is not very good at anything. And I'm a pretty tall person. Even I was this tall when I was younger. The kids used to tease me all the time about not being able to play very well. And that kind of motivated me. It kind of encouraged me to say, you know what I do? I need to be better. And I need to come to the park, and I need to play with kids who can play, who know how to play. And so I kind of got indoctrinated into the sport probably as an 11 or 12-year-old once we had moved to Indiana. And then I was able to go to school, and the coaches at school encouraged me to play, and they spent extra time with me even after the practices to help develop my skills and my talent level to become balanced. And I had a lot of people who just kind of helped me, and I just kind of got indoctrinated by just really going to the park and then playing on the school teams and playing on the high school teams. And, you know, and it's kind of a community thing here in Indiana. But that's how I got started. I just got started by just really walking around and going to the community parks because everyone is playing basketball. It's a little different today. The system has changed a little bit in terms of basketball. There's an environment now called the Amateur Athletic Association, I think, AAU, Amateur Athletic Union. And now a lot of kids, coaches are recruiting kids at a very young age to play on teams, and they take them from one level to the next level to the next level until they're ready for college or ready for the NBA. But they start with them now at a probably about 7 or 8 years old, and they take them all the way till they're like 18 years old playing. I didn't come through a system like that. I came through a system really through the schools, but that's still available to kids as well. But that's how I got started.
Okay, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show. We are discussing how to build a successful career in sports and in every other thing, you know, so to say, because what we are learning, we are hearing, you know, the experiences of a successful professional basketball player and all the motivations and, you know, the strategies that he used to succeed. So these are the things that we are learning from our guest this afternoon. I'm talking about Ken Barlow. Mr. Ken, you know, at times some people get confused, you know, talking about talents and skills. So how do you differentiate, you know, between each one, and then what roles does each play in succeeding in sports? Talent versus skills.
Yeah. So both of them take work to cultivate. Okay. So for example, in terms of your skill set, right? Even when I became a professional basketball player, I took time every day to work on my skills. So my skills would be maybe dribbling the ball, shooting the ball, passing the ball, rebounding. So I would take time every day or before every practice to work on my skills. Now my talent is I think is a blessing from God, but you have to also cultivate your talent. And so you have to condition your body in terms of what you're eating, how you're exercising, how you're taking care of yourself, getting your rest as well. So you have a responsibility to actually cultivate both of them in two different ways. So day to day, you have to make sure that you're cultivating both your talent and your skills. So I may be able to run a little bit faster, but if I stop exercising, if I stop eating the right things, then I'm not going to be able to maximize my talent. And it's the same thing with my skill sets. I could never be satisfied with me shooting the ball. Just say I'm shooting the ball at about a 55% rate, which is pretty good. But I want to go to 60. I have to take time to develop my skills on shooting. I have to develop my time on dribbling or passing. But you have to take time to develop, and a lot of that really is grounded in your discipline. So the very successful players are very disciplined to cultivate their talent as well as cultivate their skill set to make sure that they're getting the most out of themselves as a player.
Very good. I think from your response, it means that you need talent and also skill, good, wonderful skills to be able to, move along. Just like you said, if you have talent and you don't build your skills, you may not go far. I think that's what it means. Yes, I think.
To also add the mental preparation is also important. So your focus or your discipline and how you do those things, because you can see some very talented or some very skilled more talent players who don't work hard enough to develop their skills. Sometimes the person who's working harder will pass the person who's more talented because they are more disciplined to take care of their skill sets. Yes. So there's a statement here in America that we say all the time that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Okay, so let me ask you, where do we find discipline? Because I know that some talented footballers or basketball players who are very good, but they are not disciplined, and most times they lose their track or they get disfavor from their coaches and they don't get featured. That I'm talking about discipline. Some people are arrogant and all of that. So where do you bring discipline? Is it skill or talent? or is it on its own?
Yes. So I was trying to paint the picture that is critically important that we are mindful to stay disciplined to develop not only our skills but also our talent. So in terms of me as a professional basketball player, I had to be mindful to cultivate my talent by making sure I got my rest, making sure I did my exercise, and making sure I was ready every day to develop my skills as well. So the discipline comes in being regimented and having a program set for yourself. So sometimes being a professional athlete is challenging because it appears that people around you are enjoying things in life that you think that you should enjoy. So that will kind of be a distraction. And that will keep you from being disciplined. So you can't be distracted about things that are going on around you. You have to be focused on what your goals are to achieve. So the best we can do, as I said, is to give our best. And if we are lacking in that discipline to give our best every day, it's possible that we may fall short. And it's possible that, for example, you do everything that you're supposed to do, but you might not reap the benefit or the goal that you think you might reap. But that doesn't mean failure. That means that also there's another door that can be open for you in terms of success.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you are learning. You're learning from this discussion because the role of discipline in your career success or path can never be underestimated. Just like you said, even as a student, if you're not disciplined, it is possible that you will not go far. Just like in every other career, if you're not disciplined, to respect your coaches and take directives from your coaches or your bosses, you will not go far. So that is the role of discipline in building a successful career in any sector or in any profession or occupation in life. So that's fantastic. Mr. Ken, we have some comments from the comment section. So let's look at what people have to say. Oh, this is fantastic. I have this comment from Billy Kiso. Awesome content. So in being a competitive person in times, when you didn't win, how did you react to defeat or failure? Oh, that's a question.
Yes. That's a great question. Yeah. So here's an important point that I would like to make. So even in defeat, we have to self-evaluate ourselves to say, what can I learn to be better the next time, right? So even in defeat, I have to reflect to make sure that I'm self-evaluating myself so that I can learn a lesson from losing or not winning a game. So defeat also is a great teacher. It's a great way to learn experience. So we gain experience even in defeat. that can help us for the next competition that comes before us.
Oh, fantastic. And that goes to validate what's his name again? Robert Kiyosaki said that failure is one of the best teachers. Failure is one of the best teachers.
Yeah,
is that correct?
That's correct. Absolutely correct. Because we learn even in our failure.
Okay, good. Wonderful. My president is here. Thank you, Mr. Kenneth, for this educative sports lecture. Well, that's my president, Ugwumba Uchemosu. He's thanking you, Ken, for being part of this show and for this highly educative and interactive discussion.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And this one is from Ifoma Onuoha. Very interesting, sir. Very interesting. Okay, this one is from Chizi Richie Ugwumba Ekweme. I think I'm correct. Ugwumba Ekweme, that's correct. Oh, wonderful. Again, my boss is saying this center is committed to raising young leaders. That's from my president, Ugwumba Uchemosu. He's letting you know that we are committed in raising young leaders for Africa.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Good. So what do you have to say to that?
Hey, I think that's awesome. Listen, there are great lessons, life lessons that can be learned through sports. As far as like building community and teamwork and success, it's not an individual thing; it's a community thing. So I'm very pleased to hear that they're committed to raising young leaders that way. So yeah, through sports, it's awesome.
Very good, very good. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show and we are discussing how to build successful careers in sports and in every other aspect of human lives. So that's what we are discussing, and our guest on the show is a former American professional basketball player who is highly celebrated in the US and in Europe for the escapades that he made in basketball. Imagine someone winning 12 championships in European League. That's wonderful. And this man we are talking about also rejected an NBA offer, an offer to play for NBA. That's amazing. I think that's where we got to know Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. He played for NBA, right?
He did. They're considered maybe the best player ever to play in NBA. Yes. So, and Michael Jordan is spectacular. He was an inspiration to so many young students, so many young athletes in America. They had a slogan about 30 years ago, to be like Mike or to be like Michael Jordan. And every young kid would see his videos or see his game, and they'd say, I want to be successful like Michael Jordan. So, yeah, the inspiration that we get from sports figures and sports people, particularly the positive ones, are can't be undervalued.
Fantastic. Okay, so let me ask you, in all of these fantastic stories that you have shared with us, was there any time you wanted to quit?
Yes. Yes, there came a point when, and I think this is true for all athletes. So there comes a point when your body really just can't compete at that level anymore. And so I think that the foundation and education that we talked about earlier is also so important. But there came a time for me when my body was really on the decline, and some of the exercises became painful, and I had a couple operations on my knees to continue to play. And so, yes, I knew it was time to quit when my body began to fail me. But it also, I never wanted to quit prior to that. So I really enjoyed the sport, and I enjoyed practice. I enjoyed the teams. I enjoyed success. I enjoyed even the defeats, as we said earlier, because we learned from all of those things. But when my body began to break down, that's when I knew it was time for me to quit. And so I did. But as a result of that, I was able to lean back onto my education to gain employment and to do other things for the rest of my life. So that's where the education piece comes in, because even if you're a great athlete and you play at the professional level, most people play that are very good for about 10 or 12 years. And so that makes people in their middle 30s and you have the rest of your life to live. So I came to the point where my body broke down, but I'm still able to make an honest living by helping encourage young people in education even today as I work in the school.
Good, good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the show and we are reaching you from the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. And if you want to know more about us, quickly go to our website at www.ugwumbaleaders.org, ugwumbaleaders.org, or go to our website at www.facebook.com/ugwumbaleaders. So that's how you want to get to know more about us. Okay, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, we have a lot of resources for you to play and watch and learn, and that is at www.bit.ly/Ugwumba channel. That's the short link for you to get into our YouTube channel to have opportunity to learn from past editions of our talk shows, of our activities, enterprise challenge events, and so many other things. It's highly resourceful, and we want you to take a look at our YouTube channel so that you can learn from our activities and programs. Ladies and gentlemen, the interaction and conversation is highly educative, and we are progressing. So let me ask you. Okay, good. You know, we've talked about the time you wanted to quit. So let me ask, what challenges right now did you encounter along the line?
Yeah, so there are always challenges, Remy. There are great challenges. I mentioned some of them earlier. So as an athlete, the very simple challenges are you have the temptations to procrastinate or to not stay disciplined to have a good work ethic. So some of the challenges are, particularly as a young person growing up, your friends want to go out to maybe go to a party or to hang out. And as an athlete, if you're committed to your craft or your sport, you have to say no a lot of times. So anything that's contrary to your success as a person and as an athlete. So it's not only for basketball, but I think even for life, you have to say the biggest challenge is to say no to anything that's detrimental to your success academically or athletically. So I can list 1,000 of those. Around America, to be quite frankly, there's the drug temptation, there's the relationship temptation that kids deal with, there's procrastination temptation, but you have to stay true and stay committed. So I'm not saying you can't have fun, but you have to have it in moderation because if you go overboard on the wrong direction and you get off track or you become undisciplined, you're probably going to become a failure or have so many tough challenges that you're unable to complete the goals that you set before yourself. So yeah, there are many challenges. You just have to say no to the things that you recognize that are contrary to your success.
And I bet that wasn't easy. It wasn't very easy to say no.
No, that's not easy. But if you have the focus and if you know where you're going and you know how to get there, then it's a little bit easier to achieve those goals, right? So I tell my children, for example, to always make a goal each week, right? So this week in school, what are you trying to accomplish with your testing, with your athletics, with your family life? Make a goal for the week. And then your week becomes a month, then your month becomes 6 months, and your 6 months become a year. So when you're goal driven, you can always check yourself to know, are you on pace to achieve your goal by Friday? And if you're not, what do you need to do to make sure you do that? Are you on goal to achieve on pace to achieve your goal by the end of the year? And if you're not, what do you need to make sure that you achieve that? So you can always have a checks and balance system in place. It begins with just 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to learn how to say no to anything that is detrimental to your success. That is another keyword. That's another keyword from this conversation. Learn to say no to anything that is detrimental to your success. That is wonderful. Even if no matter how it hurts, no matter how it pains, you have to say no, because that just like you are traveling to Abuja and you enter a Lagos bound bus, it means if you continue, you won't get to your final destination.
There it is.
Very good. Good. So you better get down from that bus and join the right bus that will take you to where you want to go to.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Very good. Fantastic. Now let's go to the big one. I call it big one because we hear stories of very successful footballers, basketball players, and unfortunately, when they retire, they go broke. So we want to know what is the problem.
Yeah, so a big problem is moderation, at least in America, living moderately. So first, a lot of unfortunately, a lot of athletes, you become successful financially, but maybe you're bankrupt in terms of living moderately. So a lot of times, guys aren't able to make the transition from sports until everyday life. So you have to be prepared. And we mentioned a lot about education. Education really is our insurance policies to ensure that we are able to make a transition from the sports world into the business world, into the normal everyday life world, because sports is great, but it only lasts for a short period of time. I had a long career at 16 years, but even at 38 years old, my career was over. So I had to make a transition from at 38 into the life that I have now. And a lot of athletes, unfortunately, are unable to make that transition, primarily because they don't have the education background, and they haven't taken time to think about what is next after the sport. So, for example, if a player wants to be a coach after they play professional basketball, professional football, or professional baseball, the idea would be you have to spend time with people who are already in coaching, right? So I encourage, for example, my younger son, Kelsey, had talked to me about being a coach. So I said, listen, when you come home in the summer, you need to connect yourself with coaches at basketball camps and develop relationships with people, so that beyond that, the things that you have between your head, you have the relationships with people. So a lot of athletes have a trouble making that transition from sports into everyday life. And before they get there, they also have to understand that the financial benefits they have in sports are not going to be there immediately once they make that transition. So you have to learn to live your life in moderation, and you have to change your lifestyle.
Okay, so like you said, and what it means is that it's difficult, to make a shift, from this this luxurious lifestyle to the life of an ordinary man when you retire. I think that's what you just said now. Okay, so for anyone to avert the doomsday, so you mean you need to begin to plan very early, in the even from the beginning of your professional career.
Yes. So the earlier that you can start to plan for the end, the better it will be once you reach the end of your professional sports career. Yeah. So you should begin planning to be prepared to make that transition. So maybe, for example, even if you make now in the NBA, guys are making millions and millions of dollars. So I don't know how you go broke making $200 million, but I guess if you have no discipline and you still like to buy a lot of really expensive things, it's possible. But even if you're in that category, you should make a plan. Like, you should make a plan not only just for yourself but also for your family. So that's having a good financial advisor around you to kind of help you manage your money, because most athletes don't have that savvy to be financial manager. So you have to be able to have a good financial manager to prepare for things like life insurance and retirement funds and those kind of things, so that you're prepared. And then you have to be wise enough to say, I'm no longer making $2 million, $3 million. I'm making maybe 100,000. So I had to live $100,000 life. I can't live a $2 million life on $100,000 salary or $50,000 salary, right? It seems kind of logical, but you have to live within your means. But some people don't grasp that early enough, and we have a lot of tragic stories where athletes have gone once they've stopped playing, and they, like your question asked me, they end up bankrupt because they continue to live the life that they've lived, but they're not bringing in the income that they once were bringing in as an athlete.
Very good, very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another lesson that you have to take away from this conversation. You need to keep your eyes on the retirement day, so that you don't go broke. This is very important because it's becoming a problem around here, and even in the US. We see wonderful people, very successful and very rich and wealthy sportsmen, and as soon as they retire, they begin to beg for medical, what do you call it? Okay, fantastic. That's really interesting, and I think that's also where education comes in. Because if you are well educated, you'll be able to know, what is fantasy and what is the real thing. You'll be able to differentiate, from the real thing and from fantasy. I think that's where education also comes in. Thank you so much for that insight. And let's go to comment section. I have a number of comments here, and I have this one is from Johnson Ejuka. Awesome. I think he's enjoying the conversation. And this one is from Toyin Akomolede Oyeniyi. Keenly following. Toyin, thank you for following us. Thank you. This is from Johnson. Okay, Johnson, Your Excellency, God bless you more. Okay, very good. Thank you, Johnson. This is from John Melak. This is lovely, sir. Thank you, John. This is from Mercy Gea. This is a question. What are some of the major challenges you have faced in your career, and what was your glory moment? I think she's taking us back, but let's oblige her of the opportunity. I think she just joined her. Did you hear that?
Yeah. So there are a lot of challenges. I mentioned earlier, any challenges that was contrary to my success could be drugs, alcohol, procrastination, or wasting my time, or always challenges. But also, it was very challenging for me. It wasn't a major challenge, but we've talked about being selected into the NBA draft. It was a challenge because I had done everything that I was supposed to do. I stayed out of trouble. I was a conditioned athlete. I was prepared to play in the NBA. And then it was a big challenge when the Atlanta Hawks offered me a less than market value contract. So that's a challenge. So I had to make a very tough decision. I had to say no to my childhood dream, and I took my talents in other places to Europe. So that was one of my big challenges. My biggest successes was actually the same thing. When I didn't know that it was going to be as successful a career in Europe as I had, but I ended up saying no to my childhood dream in the NBA. But the biggest glory moments was I had a 16-year successful career in Europe, winning 12 championships. I won 5 championships in Italy, 5 in Israel, and 2 in Greece. And looking back, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think it could be that successful, but those were great glory moments. Wherever I went, we were winning championships, and things were highly celebrated. So I was very fortunate to have that happen for me.
Very good. So what this means is that in everything that you find yourself, in every profession, there are bound to be challenges. There must be challenges that you have to face, on your way to the top, and that is what you have just shared with us. Again, I think Mercy also has another question. She's saying, have you ever felt like giving up? Oh, Mercy, okay. Okay, so can you tell us, have you ever felt like giving up? Just like I asked you before, I think she's repeating that she wasn't here when we discussed that.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think that's a challenge. But for me personally, I never felt like giving up. I was actually just trying to learn. Like every time I was unsuccessful or I didn't complete a goal, I didn't give up. I was just trying to reevaluate myself to make the next best move to move forward. So hopefully I can encourage Miss Mercy with that. Hopefully never for you. Don't feel like giving up. Just try to learn from what is challenging you to become better for tomorrow.
Very good. So you learn from your mistakes and from your failures. Very good, very good, very good. So let me ask you, maybe in the lighter mood, Mr. Ken, I saw your photos, and you are like one of the tallest people in America. Am I correct? Your height. Your head can touch my ceiling. That's fantastic. How tall are you?
Yeah, so do you want it in meters or you want it in feet? I'm actually in feet in America. They say I'm
anyone. How many feet?
In America, I'm 6 foot 10 inches.
6 feet
10.
Okay. Are you serious? In meters, how many in meters?
I think that's 2 meters and 7 or 2 meters 8.
Wonderful, wonderful. I saw one of your photos, and man, I said, wow, this man can touch, his head can touch my
It was one of my advantages in basketball. So
yes, that's why I brought that in. So did he help you in any way?
Yeah, no, yeah, because listen, there isn't a coach that can teach 6 foot 10. They can't teach it. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing from God. And listen, I'll tell you this. So my prayer when I was a little boy was to be not 6 foot 10, but to be 7 foot tall. That was my prayer. But God said 6 foot 10 is good enough for you. So he stopped me.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. I saw that and I said, wow, wonderful. This is a very tall man, tall man. That's good. That's good. Okay, so let's talk about your activities after retirement, and we have also seen the roles that you are playing at the Cathedral High School as VP. So how are you supporting the growth of the college and your community in Indiana?
Yeah, so I'm very blessed to have an opportunity to work in the position that I work in at Cathedral High School. I'm highly connected to a lot of young people here in high school, and I do a lot of work building our community and encouraging, along with a lot of other people, making opportunities for scholarships, academic scholarships, also athletic scholarships, using my voice and my presence to ensure that students are leaving here with an opportunity for higher education. So that's what we do here holistically at Cathedral High School. And specifically for me, I'm doing that to encourage students to make the right connections, have the right relationships, to be in the right position to receive scholarships, not only athletic scholarships, but academic ones as well. So we do a lot of community outreach to a lot of different organizations, particularly colleges and universities, to help move our students to the next level. So we talked about the relationships between athletics and academics, but also relationships, the academic relationship and the relationships from one person to the next are important.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's something that that needs to be celebrated. Retiring from a professional career in sports and then coming to serve in that kind of school. I'm sure they see you as their role model. So you have a lot of roles to play apart from your administrative functions. They see you as a role model, having served, having seen you, on the big screen, playing basket and all of that being celebrated, around the country and around the world, so to say. So I'm sure they see you as their big daddy, and that's another important role that you are playing. So we appreciate that, and maybe we will try and find a way of extending that to Nigeria and Africa.
Yeah, no, I think it's critical for all people. I mean, it's good to have mentorships and guidance. I can't take credit for doing everything. I had people in front of me who encouraged me, so I have a chance now to give back and to encourage the next generation that's coming up. So I'm very happy to do that.
Good. And basically, that is what we do at the Ugwumba Center for Leadership Development in Africa. We are committed, in our mandate of raising young leaders and entrepreneurs for Africa, because we know that we have all it takes to build Africa. We have all it takes, to build a great country, that everyone will be proud of. So that's what we are doing. And by the grace of God, I will find a way of bringing you, and so that you can also add your expertise to what we are doing. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is 1 hour, 4 minutes gone, and it's been really interesting and highly interactive. So before I let you go, let me ask you, what is your last word? What is your last word to sportsmen and women in Africa? What is your advice to them?
So my advice to them is first and foremost, stay prayerful, stay connected to the Lord, to God, and be sure of yourself. Be confident in yourself, because you have people also praying for you. So I'm praying for Africa. I'm specifically praying for Nigeria, and I'm praying for your success. So from my prayers to your blessings, I'm just saying, bless Africa, bless Nigeria. And God's greetings to you. Yes.
Good. Oh, sorry. There's a question on the comment section, and this is from Mercy again. We have been given the impression that most athletes are into drugs. How did you overcome that?
Yes. So no, that's a great question. Yeah, drugs are everywhere. It's unfortunate that they are. I've actually seen the very negative sides of drugs in my community and across America. I've seen the negative side. I've seen people who have died from drugs and alcoholism and those things. So I was always very much aware of the consequences of using drugs. So I'm very proud to say that I've never been a drug user. I don't drink alcohol because I know the negative side effects, and I'm very much blessed that God has given me the strength to withstand the temptation to do that. So, yes.
Fantastic. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, we just have to call it a day, because Ken is a busy man. It was just a privilege that we were able to catch him, for this whole 1 hour. It's been really interesting, and we're happy for having you, sir. I don't know how to thank you, but I'm sure that my boss is so grateful, for so many are coming. Wonderful. So let me oblige all of these people. Austin, Jeff, Uchewosu made the dreams come true. The future is bright. Okay. This is from Hello Joe Yusuf. What did you say? I can read that out. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think we don't want any more questions or comments, but as usual, the discussion continues on social media after this conversation. Okay, thank you, Hello Joe. Thank you so much for creating time for us. Thank you so much, Hello Joe, for being part of the show today. So you can continue the conversation on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and I'm sure that our guests will be there to respond to your questions and your comments. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to call it a day for today. We're so grateful to have Ken Barlow, join us on the show this afternoon. It's been really amazing. 1 hour, 8 minutes gone, and we really appreciate. This is really amazing. We had to disturb his sleep this early morning to have him on the show this afternoon. It's a great sacrifice, like I said from the beginning, and we do not take it for granted. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of the show today. And I'm sure that when we call you next time, you will oblige us the privilege to see you again. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.